Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Ajoe21love. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Sports Overview of Topics. Plenty to go over. Obviously, baseball is back. Returned. Alex Smith returned as well, or has been cleared to resume football activities. Go over that, how he would factor in, and how many wins would he add to the Washington football team this season. As well, also give my thoughts on the NFL Top 100 rankings. They released 100 to 71 last night. I'll give my thoughts on that as well. Also, some players have opted out of the 2020 NFL season. Go over all that and more. So with that, thank you for joining me. Sorry for a little delay today. My dentist appointment got pushed back or got a little earlier today than I thought it would. So for that, anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this episode today and hope everyone's being safe. Let's get into it, shall we? So, obviously, the MLB returned, starting their season on Thursday. Started with two of the key games. Started with Yankees, Nationals, Dodgers, Giants on Thursday, and then a bunch of games. Obviously on Friday, then on Saturday, then yesterday. So I'll basically going over the scores, give my thoughts on all the games. So the Yankees defeated the reigning champs, the Washington Nationals, 4-1 on a rain-shortened game on Thursday. Dodgers defeated the Giants, San Francisco Giants, 8-1. Clayton Kershaw has been put on the injured list. Don't know how long, but that could factor in. The Mets, my Mets, they won their opening game 1-0, and then they lost 3 straight. It's like, geez, to the Braves. But I mean, the Braves, I'll give them props. They are good. But yeah, we beat them 1-0 to start. Then the Reds, this on Friday, by the way. The Reds defeated the Tigers 7-1. Cubs defeated the Milwaukee Brewers 3-0. The Blue Jays, now Buffalo Blue Jays this season, defeated the Devil Rays 6-4. They beat the Marlins, defeated the Phillies 5-2. One thing to know about the Marlins and Phillies is apparently the Marlins, a bunch of people from the Marlins tested positive for COVID. So today was supposed to be Yankees and Phillies. That got postponed, as well as Miami Marlins and Baltimore Orioles. So that's the other thing to keep an eye on. The Indians defeated the Kansas City Royals 2-0. The Red Sox crushed the Orioles 13-2. The Texas Rangers, defeated the Colorado Rockies 1-0. The St. Louis Cardinals defeated the Pirates 5-4. The Padres defeated the Diamondbacks 7-2. The Astros defeated the Mariners 8-2. Then the second game of the series between Dodgers and Giants, the Dodgers once again beat the Giants, this time 9-1. And then the first of the series with the Angels and the A's. The A's defeated the Angels 7-3. Then we move to Saturday. The Milwaukee Brewers, came back and beat the Cubs 8-3. The Orioles came back and beat the Red Sox 7-2. I'm just trying to go through the scores. Sorry here. The Cardinals defeated the Pirates again 9-1. The Rays defeated the Blue Jays, got revenge 4-1. Phillies defeated the Marlins 7-1. The Giants got revenge. Finally beat the Dodgers 5-4. The Astros defeated the Mariners again 7-2. Like I said, the Braves defeated the Mets 5-3. The Royals defeated the Indians. Come back 3-2. Tigers defeated the Reds 6-4. Nationals came back and beat the Yankees 9-2, and the Padres defeated the Diamondbacks 5-1. That was on Saturday. That was all on Saturday. Next, we move to yesterday. So the Yankees defeated the Nationals 3-2. So they won the series over the weekend. The Marlins defeated the Astros 11-6. The Tigers defeated the Reds 3-2. The Indians defeated the Royals 9-2. The Devil Rays defeated the Blue Jays 6-5. The Orioles defeated the Red Sox 7-4. So after that great opening night by the Red Sox, they got flushed twice by Baltimore. The Pirates defeated the Cards 5-1. The Cubs defeated the Brewers 8-1, winning that series. And the Rockies defeated the Rangers 5-2. And also to finish up on yesterday, the A's defeated the Angels 6-4, and the Braves defeat the Mets 14-1. It's like, geez, can we score more than a few home runs, please? I mean, at least we got one. We gotta win. So there was that about the scores. Next, I want to talk about getting into a little MMA. So there were two cards over the weekend. There was the Bellator return card with Sergio Pettis, Anthony Pettis' younger brother, defeating Ricky Bandejas by unanimous decision. Just picked them apart for them. Good on Sergio. And apparently he's going to get the next crack at the top. Get a title shot after that. So there was that. And then the UFC had Whittaker versus Till, the card. But also pretty good fights as well. So first they had for Doom. Not going to go over all the fights, just going over the key headline fights. So, Fabricio Werdum welcomed Alexander Gustafsson to the heavyweight division. Gustafsson looked healthy. He looked more in there. 35 pounds. So he weighed in at 240. He looked good in some moments, but I mean, Werdum is really excellent in jiu-jitsu. So he took Gustafsson back and then got the armbar on Gustafsson. I mean, I think Gustafsson he should stay at heavyweight for at least a few solid more fights. I'm not. I think he's 30 something. I'm not sure, or yeah, 30 something. But still, he looked more in there. He looked more fresh. He looked more healthy. So for that, good for Wardum. He said that this was his last fight in the UFC. He said he won't resign. Um, so if he goes Bellator, I assume, since they're really the only other MMA promotion that's really happening, then good for them and good for Gustin. He had a moral win, I would say, moral victory because of how he looked. So good on him. So next we move into co-main event. Um, we had Shogun versus Nogueira, Lil Nog 3. So, see, obviously two legends of DSC. Both, well, this would have been quite possibly the last fight for both of them. Lil Nog, he said this is going to be his last fight, of course. Shogun is up there in age, so you didn't really know. But obviously, he's on the back nine of his career as well. The former champion, former Pride star. Obviously, these two met twice, once in Pride, and then 5 years ago in Brazil, I believe, on the Ronda Rousey Bethe Correia card. Yeah, Shogun won a decision as well in that fight. This was, I mean, I get it. These are two legends that are getting up in their age. They're not really that relevant when it comes in rankings. So, I mean, I get it from a casual fan's perspective, but at the same time, um, these two are legends. If you're an MMA uh, rockstar fan or hardcore fan, then you can't wait for this fight. This fight pretty much delivered, even though um, there were not much expectations going into it. And Shogun, I mean, both had their moments. I think Lil Nog's boxing uh, showed as the fight wore on, but the judges gave the fight to Shogun, the decision, and I mean Shogun. Um, he was number 6 in the rankings not too long ago, but at the same time, he's up there in age. Kind of sad that this was Lil Nog's last fight, but then again, think he's 42 years old. So, I mean, makes sense, but I hope he still stays with the UFC in some aspect, like his brother is. But we'll have to see about that. Shogun, where does he go from here? Like I said, I'm not sure. He's older. I bet he can. He looked still in good shape, I would say. But where does he go from here? I'm not sure. Uh, as long as you can still fight and still be competitive, that's what I won't complain about. Um, but I mean, I just hope it doesn't turn into a BJ Penn situation where he loses like 6, 7, 8 fights in a row. Uh, and so, I mean, we'll have to see, but good for Shogun. Hats off, even though I'm not wearing a hat. Hats off to a great career for Lil Nog. So then we go to the main event. Robert Whittaker versus Darren Till. Now, obviously, Robert Whittaker is the former champion. Former middleweight champion got knocked out pretty much or finished by Adesanya. Adesanya is just on another level right now. He's gonna fight Paulo Costa, 253. But Whittaker, he took some time off. Said he had to regroup, get into that mindset again. Get the feeling of enjoying life again. And so, I mean, how would he benefit from the time off? This fight really showed. And Darren Till, I mean, this is his second fight at 185. Of course, he lost twice. He only lost 2 times, actually, before this fight in his career. That was the fight against Woodley, and that was a fight where he got knocked out by Masvidal. Again, no shame in that. He should have been at middleweight all along, I would say. And he looked good, although he lost. He put in a good effort. He knocked down Whittaker in the first round with the elbow, a short elbow. Whittaker got him back the next round. But pretty much the key to this fight was Whittaker's leg kicks. It just affected the rhythm of Darren Till too much, and Darren Till just didn't seem all there. He did crack Whittaker, I believe, in the 4th or 5th round, and kudos to Whittaker because Masvidal said that Till is the hardest guy that he's fought when it comes to power. So, yeah, good on Whittaker. He applied more pressure. He just seemed like it was his rhythm pretty much most of the fight as we got into the later championship rounds. Because I believe, well, this was Till's first main event, at 185. I mean, he had the one main event. Well, and also this was the first time he went 5 rounds in the UFC, I believe, with Till. Because, he knocked out Cowboy, or he finished Cowboy in the first round, I believe, or the second round. And then he got finished or he tapped out to Woodley in the top fight. Or no, wait, this was the second time he went 5 rounds. Yeah, with Wonderboy. He won the decision with Wonderboy, but this was first time at 185, so 5 rounds. Yeah, because he got knocked out by Till, so yeah, it works. Excuse me, I had a little brain fart, but yeah. So, but Till, still, he looked good. Whittaker, he benefited from that time off. We'll have to see where both goes. Because, well, I would like to see Robert Whittaker fight Jack Hermanson, who submitted Kelvin Gastelum last weekend. Quick fashion. I would like to see that fight. And probably the winner gets the winner of Costa versus Adesanya. And, well, because Yoel Romero is going to fight Uriah Hall soon as well. So that could be a key fight to determine Till's next opponent. So, yeah, we'll see about that. But good on Whittaker. Till still had a good showing as well. So there was that. Now, next, I want to move into. So, Alex Smith is back. And he's ready to return. He was cleared. Obviously, we all know from his injury a couple years ago. He had the Redskins at 6-3. um, 2018, they seemed primed to win the division. They were my pick to win the division behind Alex Smith's arm and Adrian Peterson still getting it done. Then obviously Alex Smith got injured, and then they moved to Mark Sanchez. He got injured as well. And then it was a quarterback carousel after that. Still, and they got a lot of injuries as well. The offensive line, etc. But I mean, I think well, I printed out their schedule. So let's see, how many wins would Alex Smith give the Washington football team? And could they be a playoff team? Well, let's see. So they start off week 1 against Philly at Washington. They host Philly at Washington. Now, originally I gave them a 3-13 team, but after Alex Smith returning, I have some extra light on Washington. So I think they could squeeze out a win hosting Philly week 1. Next, they go to Arizona, and I think they could win that game. Yeah, because, well, they played 2018, but obviously that was with Josh Rosen, not Kyler Murray. But at the same time, that defense has holes for Arizona. And that two-headed monster with Adrian Peterson and Darius Geis, assuming he's healthy, I believe could torch Arizona's defense. Week 3, they go to Cleveland. And I think that's a loss. So then I just think Cleveland's more loaded. They can probably, well, I don't know if Washington could hang with their weapons of offense. Then next week 4, they host the Ravens. I mean, Lamar Jackson, both teams, when you think about it, are kind of physical style teams. And I think the Ravens would have the edge in that format. Although Lamar Jackson, Chase Young, it's an interesting dynamic to think about. So after the first quarter, they're 2-2. Then they host the Rams. I think they can win against the Rams. I'm not so sure about the Rams' offense this year, but we'll see. Then they go to East Rutherford to play the Giants, and I'm pretty high on the Giants this season. I think they can be a wildcard team and contend for the division. But yeah, I think they split. They lose at East Rutherford. Then next week they host. Yeah, they host the Cowboys. And I think they get a win there. Then they come back still at home and they host the Giants, and they don't get swept, or they don't swept. They go 1-1 in the series. Then they go play the Lions, and initially I gave this an L, but after reconsideration, I think maybe the Lions, they just in ruins right now. I don't know what to think of them. So for that, I think they'd be more motivated, and they win in Detroit. Next, they host Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Yeah, I think that's a win. They host. Obviously, Joe Burrow, he's going to have some growing pains as a rookie. I thought maybe this could be a win at first, but Alex Smith, I think, propels them and gives that veteran leadership, and they get the win. One thing I want to say, though, is that I like their front seven up. Washington, I like their defense. So I think it's just the offense. Dwayne Haskins, I'm not completely sold on it. I'm not sold on him yet. I just think Alex Smith would provide that extra to Washington that they need. So then afterwards, it's a short week, and they travel to Dallas on Thanksgiving. They lose that game, but then they come back in 10 days and, kind of early bye week, or kind of an extra bye week, and they they go to Pittsburgh, but I think they can squeeze out a close win in Pittsburgh. Probably something like 16-13 or 2017, something like that. Then they drop two, so they're 8-5. They're 8-5 going in the stretch. Or actually 8-4, excuse me. So then they drop two straight at San Francisco, and then they host Seattle, and that would just be tough. Those are two teams, especially after news next, the Jamal Adams trade. I think that would be extra tough, Seattle, because I think both teams will be vying for a playoff spot, if not competing for the division. So that will be a tough stretch. Excuse me. Then they host the Panthers, Carolina, and I think Carolina will be competitive this year. They will be 500 in my opinion, but I think that Washington will be a little more motivated. They'll be a little more available, more in the hunt, and they see more motivation against Carolina, so they get the win, go 9-6, and then this week 17 could very well be for the division at Philly. But I think if Philly is healthy, I think they could very well win this and win the division. And then, because I'm high on Philly as well. So, Washington would finish, according to this, 9-7. And I think that would be good enough, especially with the extra playoff spot. They could very well be a wildcard team. Well, let's see, because I think Philly, Seattle, San Fran. I like Arizona, Minnesota, Chicago, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. I think all those teams will definitely be in it. Like I said, I'm high on the Giants as well. Let's see. But that could be good for a wildcard spot. We'll have to see. Because that's a bunch of teams that are in the spot. And even though I don't think they'll be that good, or as good as they were last year, Green Bay is also a possibility. So let's see on that. But yeah, 9-7, I think, what Alex Smith could bring to the Washington football team. Starting to get used to only calling them the Washington football team, which is weird. So, like I said, next, the Seattle Seahawks, they traded, big trade. I know Trenton, if he's watching, my bud Trent, he's got to be happy about this. He was definitely probably happy seeing that, but since he's Seahawks fan, but yeah, Seattle traded 2 first rounders and a third for Jamal Adams, and Bradley McDougall, who has been a quality safety the last few years, for a fourth from the Jets. So, I mean, well, I think Jamal Adams is one of the best, if not the best, defense player in the league right now. You can argue, well, he's probably the best safety in the NFL right now. Now, 2 first-round picks for safety. Yes, he's versatile safety. He can sack you. He can pick you off. That actually sounds weird, but yeah. He can intercept the ball. He can make sacks. He can do coverage. He can all that. But yeah, Jamal Adams, but at the same time, the future for the Jets. I mean, when you look at the Jets, they basically trade away their best player. So, I mean, when you look at the Jets roster, well, because they got Bradley McDougall, who's a quality safety, but still, I mean, well, you have C.J. Mosley, who was mostly injured last year that they acquired. You got Le'Veon Bell, who I think was underutilized in the Jets' offense last season. Yes, many people could say he's under or overpaid. Nonetheless, Sam Darnold, of course, he's on his rookie deal. They drafted Mekhi Becton to hopefully protect Darnold's blind side. But, I mean, they're basically at a time when you have to give Darnold weapons, surround him with a lot of talent. You trade away their best player, and Joe Douglas, I think, so far been an okay GM so far. But I mean, I'm sure there's still some critics around Sam Darnold. Even though he hasn't played a full season yet in the NFL, still, they're paying him chump change right now, and they haven't even supplied him with much talent around him. So the Jets will have to see where they go from here. But Seattle, I think, I had them winning the division. Currently, I think this propels them into, well, because there's only one bye per conference now. So I'm not sure if this propels them into the number 1 seed. I think that's still up for grabs with New Orleans and Philly and Tampa Bay and possibly Minnesota. But yeah, we'll have to see. And San Francisco. We'll have to see. But there's that. So Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, doctor on the offensive line for the reigning defending champs Kansas City Chiefs, opted out of the 2020 NFL season. I mean, he's a doctor. He's helping out in Canada, so he opted out. But they kind of got insurance for that. They signed Kelechi Osemele, veteran guard. He was with the Jets for a little bit last year, but there was an injury disagreement that made him not happy with the Jets. So they got some replacement, I guess you'd say. And the Knicks, first off, the Giants, again, they got a new kicker. They released Aldrick Rosas, who had some issues this last month, the last few weeks, obviously with the hit and run. They signed Chandler Canzaro, who has been a quality kicker, hasn't been really that good. I would say he was quality with the Cardinals, and then he kind of fell off, and then he got signed by the Bucks, and then he was last with the Jets in 2018. Then last year he got an injury, retired, and then all of a sudden unretired. Then the Giants are bringing him back, so there's that. There was also another trade. The Adam Shaheen, the young tight end from Chicago that they drafted a couple years ago. They traded to Miami for a 6th-round draft pick. Now, obviously, the Bears, they drafted Cole Kmet out of Notre Dame in the 2nd round, their top draft pick from this year. They acquired Jimmy Graham in the offseason, so that is 2 quality tight ends right there. They have a lot of tight ends. They'll obviously probably release or get some value for them. Shaheen, he had some flashes. He did okay. He had some connection with Mitchell Trubisky, but I mean, inconsistency and injuries just didn't really bode well for him. Now for the Dolphins, they have Mike Gesicki, who is a decent to pretty good tight end, young as well. Maybe they pair them together. I'm not sure on the offense. Well, let's see. Next, I want to talk about, got some NBA news as well. The Knicks, they have a new coach. They signed Tom Thibodeau. Now, the Knicks, they've been in turmoil, obviously. Can he turn it around? I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think the Knicks fans will be happy unless Dolan sells the team. And he made clear he's not going to sell the team. So, I mean, can the coach turn around? We'll have to see. but they're obviously out of the bubble for the NBA resumed season, but they got started on the off season, so there's that. And also, Lou Williams, the reigning six man of the year, I believe, for the Clippers, is quarantined. He's gonna miss the first couple of games for the resumed season with the Clippers. He apparently went to a strip club, got some wings, and apparently tested positive for the virus. And so he's going to be quarantined and he'll be away for a couple games. I'm not sure if that will affect the Clippers much because the Clippers, well, they're locked in at the 2 seed right now. I think the only team that can really unsuit them from the 2nd seed is the Nuggets, who are number 3. But we'll have to see. Currently, the Clippers are pegged right now to face the Mavericks in the first round of the NBA playoffs. But we'll have to see. And the Clippers are clearly motivated and primed to win now. So one of their pieces will definitely hurt. And a little bit of NHL news. The the former Arizona Coyote GM John Chayka, excuse me if I mispronounced the name, don't cover hockey that much, but he apparently stepped down as the Coyotes GM. The Coyotes are apparently in the qualifying rounds of the playoffs this year, but we'll have to see how they go. Lastly, what I want to talk about was the NFL Top 100 came out. I think it's been kind of delayed a few weeks or at least a week due to pandemic, but it got started last night with 3 episodes, and they covered number 100 to 71. So I'll run down it and talk about which teams or which players I think are too low and maybe too high. We'll just have to see, or may not even deserve to be on the list. We'll have to see. So first, coming in at number 100, Lavonte David. Now, Lavonte David, he's one of the best linebackers in the league, in my opinion. I believe in everybody's opinion. So for him to be 100, I think that's. I mean, you didn't hear from him a lot this year, but at the same time, he did his work. That's kind of low for him, if you ask me. Coming in at 99, Darren Waller, tight end who broke out this season for the Raiders. I think that's low, obviously, because Darren Waller, I think it's either him or Zach Ertz currently as the 3rd best tight end in the NFL. I would have expected him being in maybe the 70s, the 60s. I mean, but it is what it is. Next up at 98, Brandon Brooks. Now, this was before Brandon Brooks obviously tore his meniscus and he'll be out of the season. So, I mean, this season, so can't complain too much. But he's underrated. I believe he's one of the better guards in the league. So, but too low, if you ask me. Buda Baker, 97. The young safety of the Cardinals. He had a pretty good season. Can't really complain at 97. He's one of those ascending players in the league, and it's good to see him being recognized and being on the list. 96. Chris Carson of the Seahawks. The starting running back of the Seahawks. I mean, Carson, I believe that if he was healthy at the end of last season, they would have beaten the Packers in the divisional round, and they would have went to San Fran and the NFC title game and made it interesting. But nonetheless, I mean, Carson, he's one of the better backs in the league, but at the same time, I don't consider him a top 5 running back. I think he's probably top 10, so can't complain. I think this is kind of okay as his ranking. Next up, number 95, Frank Clark. Frank Clark, I mean, he and Dee Ford were basically swapped last season. The Chiefs basically dropped Dee Ford for Frank Clark. He had a solid season again. Obviously, he was one of those pieces that definitely helped the Chiefs defense thrive in the playoffs and seal that Super Bowl title along with Honey Badger. So I think he's deserving of this list. Next up, Jason Kelce at 94. Jason Kelce, he's one of the most, I would say, do-it-all centers. He was snubbed the all-decade team, having 3 All-Pros from the last decade. Obviously, everyone knows him from his funny charade at the Super Bowl parade a couple years ago for the Eagles, which was hilarious. But yeah, Kelce, good for him. Next up, 93, Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, he's been pretty much a really good option for the Bears last season. After tearing his ACL a couple years ago with the Jags, now he's been a solid number 1 for the Bears. One of the most underrated, I would say, wide receivers in the NFL. But yeah, if the Bears could find a number 2, a solid number 2 for him, I think that would help their offense a lot. We'll have to see. But yeah, good for him. Next up, Darius Slay. One of the best corners in the league. Obviously, he was traded to Philly for reasons you don't know, you still don't understand. But, I mean, good for him. He's one of the better safeties in the league. So, good for him. Next up, Grady Jarrett of the Falcons. And Grady Jarrett, obviously, really good defense tackle. Honestly, could be a pass rusher as well. could change his position if he wanted to. He's really good. Not as good as Aaron Donald or I would say J.J. Watt or TJ, but still really good. Next up, Kyler Murray, who had a solid rookie season in the league, catapulting the Cardinals, doubling their wins. I expect him to take a big jump in 2020, so good on him. I was a little confused though because, well, I'll get to that in a sec. So next up, 89, Cooper Kupp. Good for him. He's been kind of injury a little the last few years, the last couple of years, but still he's one of the shining lights on the offense of the Rams. One of the better slot receivers, if not the best slot receiver in the league right now. So good on Cooper Kupp. Next up, 88, Jalen Smith. Solid linebacker. Got his extension, good on him. 87, Josh Allen, who I think will be better. He'll probably be near 50 next year if he takes a jump. 86, Marlon Humphrey. Solid for him. One of the better corners in the league. So young. Next up, Zach Ertz, 85. Solid. Believe he should be higher. But yeah. So next, 84, Cameron Hayward. Solid for him. 83, Eric Kendricks. The first of 5 Vikings apparently on the list. I can kind of guess who the other 4 are, but go on. Kendricks, his debut on the NFL Top 100. Next, 82, Ryan Ramczyk. One of the better tackles in the league. Arguably the best right tackle in the league right now. Next up, 81, DK Metcalf. Solid for him. Yeah, heck of rookie year. Still don't know why he slid down to the second round. I still don't understand, but yeah. Number 80, Myles Garrett. Got awarded his extension. I mean, if he didn't have that incident with Mason Rudolph, he would be higher, in my opinion. Probably near the top 50. But yeah. Next up, Calais Campbell, 79. One of the most underappreciated, I would say, pass rushers in the league. He can still do it at his age. Was picked up for a good reason by Baltimore. Good on him. Number 78, Taran Smith. The mainstay left tackle for the Cowboys. Excuse me. I think he should be higher. But still good on him. He deserves a spot on the list. Number 77, Keenan Allen. Really good for him. Marshall Lattimore, number 76. Think he should be higher in top 50. Doesn't get really respect that he deserves, but still good on him. Number 75, Earl Thomas. Still doing it at his age. He just gets it done. Obviously, he'd like to forget what happened to him against Derrick Henry when they played in playoffs, but yeah, so nonetheless, he did really good this year. Next up, 74, Ronnie Stanley, who's becoming one of the better left tackles in the league right now. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's got to be really happy having him at his left tackle spot. So go on him. Number 73, Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox, he's a really good mainstay left defense tackle. He gets it done year in, year out. One of the more underappreciated guys in the league. So go on him. Next up, 72, Josh Jacobs. Now, what was interesting is Josh Jacobs was 72 and Kyler Murray was number 90. It was interesting because people are still debating that Josh Jacobs should have won the Offensive Rookie of the Year over Kyler Murray. Now, I think Josh Jacobs and Kyler Murray both had solid rookie years, but that's a little confusing. I'm just confused on that, but good on Jacobs. He has helped out Las Vegas, and good on him for the Raiders. And then the last one they revealed, Jarrell Casey, one of the better D linemen in the league. Still getting done. Still is a force you gotta account for. He still gets done. I'm not sure why they traded him to Denver for what he was traded for. But I mean, it is what it is. Good on these guys. The only guys from this list so far that I think should be higher are Levante David, Darren Waller, Kelsey, Slay, Ertz, Humphrey, Smith, or Taran Smith, Marshall Lattimore, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, I think this is pretty okay as far as so far reveals. Obviously, they'll continue the NFL Top 100 tonight, and I'll go over it more next week. But nonetheless, so that was pretty much it for the episode today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried to cram as much information as I could to keep it interesting for this episode. Obviously, we'll have more baseball tonight and many others soon. The NBA Zoom season is going to start again. So, yeah, sports, everyone. Soon they're coming back. So, again, sorry for the delay. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. See you guys back on Thursday. And hope you guys all have a good day. And I'll be back